Let's take a look at some news. It's getting close to summer. Or is it summer? I don't know. But everyone is starting to get ready to travel around the world. And you can travel to different countries or travel within your own country, whatever. But if we are flying somewhere, we need to make sure to be a good passenger. You don't want people to think you're annoying, right? So I found this article from the New York Times, and this article is called Never a Reason to Take Off Your Socks. A Flight Attendant's 12 Etiquette Rules. So today we're going to talk about etiquette on an airplane and how to follow these etiquette rules. So, etiquette is the rules of being polite or the way to have good manners. So that's what etiquette is. This is a noun. So you need to have good etiquette. And we talk about etiquette in a lot of different situations. If you're eating at a restaurant, there is some etiquette you need to follow. Like you need to follow the rules of being a polite person at a restaurant. Don't chew with your mouth open. Ugh, yuck. You have to close your mouth when you chew. That's basic etiquette. Okay? So these are rules for being polite. And so today we're going to look at a flight attendant's 12 etiquette rules. Okay? A flight attendant is a person who works on a flight and they keep people safe and they help passengers and they do a lot of different jobs. Always be nice to your flight attendants because they work really hard and their job is to keep you safe and make sure everything goes smoothly on the flight. So the first thing is never a reason to take off your socks, meaning there is never a reason to take off your socks. So you think, oh, I really need to take off my socks. They're saying, no, never. Don't do that. Please keep your socks on. Okay. Duffy says, hope to travel to Moai Island in the Pacific Ocean. Okay. The name of that island is Easter Island. So Easter Island is the one with Moai. Cool. And good evening, Monica. Welcome. Thanks for joining. I guess I should have talked about my travel plans first. I might go to the beach on Bali Island this year. So that sounds pretty cool. I've never been to Bali, but I'm going to go for a few days. So that should be fun. Yeah, I love going to the beach. Hopefully it's comfortable and not too hot. Okay. Back to our article. So, a flight attendant's 12 etiquette rules. Under the heading, it says, air travel is going to be busy this summer. With some common sense and courtesy, could flying be pleasant? So, usually, flying in an airplane is not very nice. It's kind of uncomfortable. So, could it be pleasant? Like, could it be comfortable? Could it be nice? Okay. How can you make it pleasant? Well, with some common sense and courtesy. Could it be pleasant? Common sense means being smart, like doing basic things that are smart. So common sense means things you should know. Like if you use your brain for 5 seconds, you should know this thing. That's called common sense. Okay? Like, what's an example? It's common sense that you shouldn't drink beer and then drive a car. Everyone knows that, right? And then common courtesy. Courtesy is another word to mean being polite. So common courtesy means the basic way of being polite, like saying thank you or please. That's common courtesy. Okay? So with those two things, could flying be pleasant? Could it be nice to fly in a plane? We'll find out. Okay. So, let's see. There's a short introduction. This is a little bit difficult, so maybe we could spend a couple minutes on it, but once we get to the actual etiquette rules, it's a little bit easier. So this is from the flight attendant. So she says, after 21 years as a flight attendant, I've seen it all. So this phrase, I've seen it all. Can you hear the linking? I've seen it all. I've seen it all, meaning I've seen everything. I've seen good things, I've seen bad things, I've seen crazy things. Okay? The pandemic heightened tensions on board. So tensions means people are not in a good mood. In the pandemic, meaning COVID-19, heightened tensions, meaning people got even more frustrated. So the pandemic heightened tensions on board with the most extreme incidents of bad passenger behavior escalating to violence. So the most extreme incidents, like the most crazy problems of bad passenger behavior, so people doing bad stuff, escalating to violence. Escalating means going up to violence. Maybe people were fighting on the plane. Oh my gosh, right? Crazy. So people on airplanes were a little bit crazy on planes because of the pandemic. Okay? So that's the extreme. That's the most crazy. More commonly, though, I see discourteous behavior lead to verbal disagreements or general unpleasantness. Now, this is a little bit difficult, but the intro is usually the hardest part. Later, it'll get easier, okay? The beginning is the hardest part. So, more commonly, like most of the time, I see discourteous behavior. So, we saw the word courtesy before. Courtesy means politeness or being polite. So discourteous means not polite. So I see discourteous behavior, meaning people being rude or not polite. So I see discourteous behavior lead to verbal disagreements. So a disagreement means we don't agree. Maybe we're fighting a little bit. Or arguing. And so a verbal disagreement, verbal means words. So verbal disagreement means just arguing. So maybe during the worst of the pandemic, people actually fought. But usually it's just a verbal disagreement, people arguing. Or general unpleasantness. There's the word pleasant again. Pleasant means nice. So unpleasantness means it's not nice, people are uncomfortable. Okay? As we enter the busy summer season, it's worth discussing some of the common courtesies that could make flying, dare I say, pleasant. So as we enter the busy summer season, that's not too bad, it's worth discussing. So it's a good idea to discuss something. So it's worth discussing some of the common courtesies. We said courtesy means being polite. Common courtesy means like basic ways to be polite. Okay? So common courtesies that could make flying, dare I say, pleasant. The dare I say means usually it's not. And so you say, oh, could it actually be pleasant? So this is a phrase that we use not too often, but if it's different from what you expect. You expect flying will be uncomfortable, but you say, ooh, could it make flying, dare I say, pleasant? The pleasant is a surprise. Okay? So, here are my airline etiquette rules. So etiquette means way to be polite, and rules means like you should follow this to be polite. So here are my airline etiquette rules, which aim to strike a balance between your own reasonable comforts and thoughtfulness to those around you. So it's trying to strike a balance. This is a good phrase. So you could have A, you could have B. You could have all of A or you could have all of B. But you want to strike a balance. You want to have it equal. Okay? So strike a balance between two things, between A and B. So A is your own reasonable comforts. So we want to balance you being comfortable reasonably. Reasonably means like not too much, not too crazy. You're not going to lay in a bed or something super comfortable, but reasonable comfortable. Like comfortable enough. So balance your comforts, like you being comfortable. What do we balance that with? Thoughtfulness to those around you. Thoughtfulness to those around you. Thoughtfulness here means thinking about other people, being nice to other people. So we want to strike a balance between your comfort and other people's comfort. You can't choose one, you can't choose the other. You want a balance. Make yourself happy, but also think about other people. Okay, now the intro is usually the hardest part. So if this is tricky, that's okay. Let's move to the first rule of etiquette on a plane. Now, everyone has the right to recline, but there's a polite way to do it. So everyone has the right to recline. To recline is what you do with your chair. You lean back. To make your chair go back, that's to recline your chair. So everyone has the right to recline, meaning everyone can recline and it's okay. But there's a polite way to do it. Okay? So you can do it, but do it the right way. Okay? Monica says, I think this situation was more crazy in the hospital during the pandemic. Oh yeah, hospitals could be crazy. People would have arguments and maybe even fight about crazy stuff. So yeah, we have to be thoughtful about other people, right? You want to take care of yourself, but take care of other people at the same time. Okay, back to our article. So what should we do if we want to recline our seat? Okay, the wrong way is slamming back the seat as hard and fast as you can. Boom! Slamming your chair back. So don't slam your seat back. Of course, that's kind of common sense, right? If you do that, that has broken laptops, spilled drinks, and caused fist fights that have caused flights to be diverted or diverted. Nope, I don't want to use red, sorry. Diverted or diverted. So, if you recline your seat too fast, you could break someone's laptop, spill their drink, or even cause a fist fight. So this is your fist. If you take your hand and close your fingers, that's called a fist. So what's a fist fight? Well, people punching each other. Crazy, right? So maybe using your chair too quickly, someone might get so angry that they want to fight you. Crazy, right? In the fist fights that have caused flights to be diverted. If a flight is diverted, that means it's going one direction and then it has to go somewhere else. Maybe they have to land the plane because the passengers are too crazy. So you're trying to fly to Well, if you're flying from California to Boston, but there's a fight on the plane, maybe the plane has to land in Chicago, which is only halfway. So if a flight is diverted, it goes to a different place than it's supposed to go. That's ridiculous, right? So what should you do? How should you recline your seat? Well, you should be aware of your surroundings. Be aware means know, and your surroundings means what's around you. Surroundings just means what's around you. You can see round or surround inside this word. So be aware of your surroundings. Look around and know what's around you. Just take your time. Also, before reclining, peek behind you and see what the situation is. And nicely ask if that person minds. Okay? So take your time. You should peek behind you. So look behind you and see what it's like behind you. If there's someone there, be careful. If there's no one there, if there's no one behind you, do what you like. But if there's someone there, take a peek. A peek means look quickly. Look like, whoa. Take a quick peek. If it seems safe, maybe you can recline slowly. If you want to be really nice, you can nicely ask if that person minds. So say, hey, is it okay if I recline my seat? Or maybe just recline it a little bit. And if you want to go all the way, you could ask, is it okay if I go all the way back? Something like that. So, everyone has the right to recline, but there's a polite way to do it. I would say do the peek at least. Check if there's someone there, and then recline a little bit. If you want to go all the way, then you ask. But usually I'd say maybe you don't need to ask if you're only reclining a little bit. Okay, what's next? Clean up after your kids. Kids are messy. If your kids make a mess, don't expect the flight attendants to clean for you. You should help clean up after your kids. Okay? So clean up after your kids. This is a flight attendant talking. We are not maids. A maid is a cleaning lady. We are not maids. Flight attendants do not have access to vacuums, brooms, or cleaning supplies that go beyond hand soap, wet wipes, and air freshener. So, that go beyond means that are more than. So that's saying that they don't have all of this stuff. They only have hand soap, wet wipes, and air freshener. So you don't expect a flight attendant to clean up a big mess. You should be able to help, okay? You are not required to clean up. You don't have to clean up, but it's courteous. Courteous means polite and kind and nice. It's the right thing to do. There are knock-on effects too. A knock-on effect means we have one problem that will cause other problems later. So one problem knocks on to another problem, which causes another problem. Okay? So if there's a little mess, that could cause other problems too. There are knock-on effects too. Messes in the aisle can be a safety hazard, meaning something dangerous. And a big cleaning job can even delay the next flight. So if they have to clean the plane, it might delay the next flight. So it might be okay for your flight, but the people on the next flight might have to wait, and that's not good. Proactive thinking helps. Being proactive, this is a good word to know. Proactive means actually doing something. Don't sit and wait for something to happen. Push yourself to do something. So proactive thinking helps. What can I do? Can a small child handle a large bag of snacks? So If your kid has a big bag of snacks, can they handle it by themselves? If not, put them in a smaller, more manageable container ahead of time. So don't give your kid a big bag of chips because they might go, "Prah, chips everywhere." Put them in a smaller, more manageable container. Manageable means they can manage it. They can control that thing. So a little kid, if they have a big bag of chips, it might make a mess. If they have a little bag, then it's okay. It's better. Okay. Duffy says, peek behind you. You look like a thief. Maybe you look like a thief a little bit. You don't have to be too creepy. Just take a look. Just like that. Peek means look quickly. You don't need to be looking through the crack. Don't be too creepy. Or you look like someone who made a mistake. Yeah, you don't want to be creepy about it. Also, if there's don't look over the seat. Don't do that. Just take a quick peek. All you have to do is look quick and see if there's a person. If there's no person, put your seat back. If there is a person, just carefully recline your seat, right? That's funny. You look like a thief. Okay, so clean up your kids. This is a good idea. So remember, the flight attendants are not maids. Their job is not to clean the airplane. Their job is to keep you safe and make sure the flight goes smoothly, right? Remember that they're there to save your life if there's a problem. The other things they do are just kind of nice benefits, okay? So remember that. Their main job is to keep you safe. The extra nice thing they do is give you snacks and drinks to keep you happy. They're not your maid, right? They're not your cleaner. Okay, the next one. This is kind of fun. The overhead bins are not, the overhead bins aren't your personal Tetris game. So, have you ever played Tetris? And have you ever seen someone putting stuff in the overhead bin like it's Tetris? So the overhead bin, overhead means, well, it's over your head. And a bin means a container. So that's what this is, the overhead bin, where you put your carry-on baggage. So the overhead bins aren't your personal Tetris game. This game is called Tetris. I love Tetris. It's really fun. I played it growing up. I still play it now, once in a while. If you haven't played Tetris, you should play Tetris. Tetris is amazing. But the overhead bins aren't your personal Tetris game. So don't get up there moving things around, having fun, or trying to be a genius. Just put your stuff away and then sit down. Okay. So the bins are first come, first serve in economy class. This is a very common phrase. First come, first serve. That means if you are the first person to arrive or the first person to get there, then you can get something. If you're late, or if you're one of the later people there, if you don't get something, sorry, you can't change it. You're too late. So this kind of stinks for an airplane, but that's how it works. The bins are first come, first serve. So if you get on the plane, you can put your stuff up there. If everything's full, sorry, too bad. This phrase is common for maybe a meeting or a gathering. Like snacks are first come, first serve. So if I have a big event and I have snacks, I can't guarantee that everyone will get a snack. The snacks are first come, first serve. If you come and get a snack, you can. If you're late and there are no more snacks, sorry, too bad, right? Because a lot of people will say, hey, I came, you should give me a snack. It's like, well, there are no snacks. They're first come, first serve, okay? So the bins are first come, first serve in economy class. You don't own the spot directly above your seat. And it's not acceptable to take out someone else's bag to make yours fit. So we have two parts. You don't own the spot directly above your seat. There's a spot above your seat, but that's not yours. You didn't pay for that spot. You have to remember that. That stinks. I don't like that, but it's true. And it's not acceptable, meaning it's not okay to take out someone else's bag to make yours fit. Yeah, you don't get to say, this is my space, right? Someone else's bag is there. Sorry, you're too late. Sliding bags to maximize space is fine. Sliding means moving left and right. And to maximize space. Maximize means get the most. So if people put in their bags and they're loosely put there, you can slide them to get more space. So sliding bags to maximize space is fine, but save the complex puzzle solving for the flight attendant. So you can move stuff a little bit, but if there's anything complex you need to do, and it's almost like solving a puzzle solving, don't do it. Let the flight attendant move stuff if it's complicated. If you have to go, oh, move this here, that there, this there, blah, 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 blah. Don't bother. Let the flight attendant try, okay? And remember, small bags belong at your feet, keeping room for large bags in the overhead bins. So if you have a handbag or a little backpack, put that at your feet, okay? Save the space up top for carry-on luggage, like this guy's little suitcase. That's called a carry-on bag. Carry-on. Is it one word or two? Oh, English is hard. Define carry-on. How do we write it? Yeah, usually with a hyphen like that. Okay. So, reminder, English is hard even for English teachers. Sometimes we forget, is there a space? Is there no space? Is there a hyphen? What do we do? So it's okay to Google stuff. You don't need to remember everything. Okay, so the overhead bins aren't your personal Tetris game. You can play Tetris at home on your Nintendo or your Game Boy or something, if you still have a Game Boy. Next, this is something we all need to remember. No one wants to hear your FaceTime conversation. So FaceTime is something that is on iPhones, and it's a video chat. But in America, people use the word FaceTime for any kind of video call. We use this as a verb. We use it as a noun. So you could say a FaceTime conversation, or you could say, I need to FaceTime with my dad, or I'm going to FaceTime with my friend. You could use that for any video software, video call. It doesn't have to be FaceTime on iPhone. Like if you're using Line to call someone, you could also use the word FaceTime. That's fine. Okay? So no one wants to hear your FaceTime conversation. We don't need to hear both sides of that conversation. Of course, we're going to hear one side. We'll hear you talking. We don't need to hear your mom telling you stories about her dinner today, right? So we don't need to hear both sides of that conversation. We don't need to hear the person on the phone. Plus, boarding an airplane is not the time for your goodbyes. It's not the time to say goodbye to people. You should have called them or told them goodbye already Now you're on the plane. Focus on the plane. Next, it's time for you to concentrate on finding your seat and stowing your bags as fast as possible, so the people behind you can do the same thing. So it's time for you to concentrate on what? Finding your seat and stowing your bags. So stowing your bags means putting your bags away. Oops, sorry. Finding your seat, stowing your bags as fast as possible. So put your bags in the overhead bin as fast as possible, so the people behind you can do the same thing, because everybody's waiting for you, right? So this is about the calls. But also there's more than this. While we are on the topic, so while we're talking about being noisy, while we're on the topic, no one wants to hear your movies, video games, or TikToks. So bring headphones, even for children. So we don't want to hear both sides of your FaceTime conversation, but also no one wants to hear your movies, video games, or TikToks, or Instagram, or whatever. Anything on your phone. We don't want to hear the sound coming out of it. So bring headphones, even for children. Kids can wear headphones too, right? It's not going to hurt their ears. Just keep the volume low. Never let your phone blast sound when there are lots of people around you, right? Okay, let's try to do maybe one more, and then we can save the rest for next time, okay? Next, the middle seat gets both armrests. Well, really? I don't know. This might be something that people debate or argue about. But the middle seat gets both armrests. This is a flight attendant telling us what she thinks should be the right thing to do. Now, why? It's the consolation prize for being squished between two people with nowhere to lean. Case closed. So, you're stuck in the middle. There's a person here, a person here. This guy can lean on this side. This lady can lean on that side. And so the middle person, because they're unlucky, they're stuck in the middle, they get both armrests. So why? It's the consolation prize. A consolation prize means you didn't win. You didn't get the big prize, but you get a consolation prize. To console someone means say, it's okay. So if I console you, I say, hey, don't worry, it's okay. Meaning like, oh, you lost, you didn't win, but it's okay. You tried your best. So it's kind of like, okay, the winner gets a big trophy, but then you get a medal that says, oh, you tried. You didn't win, but at least you tried. That's called a consolation prize. So consolation prize, you got the bad thing. You are in the middle seat, but here's your little thing to make your life a little bit better. So it's the consolation prize for being squished. Squish means you're stuck between something. Squished between two people with nowhere to lean. To lean means to like rest on one side. The lady can lean on the wall. This guy can lean on this armrest. Because this guy's stuck in the middle, hey, let's give him something nice. Give him both armrests. Okay? Case closed. Case closed means we're done investigating. This phrase is very common for police. Police are trying to figure out who the bad guy is. Like, okay, we found out this guy is the killer. We found his fingerprints on the knife, and there's a video of him at the scene of the crime. We know it's him. Case closed. We're finished. like you have this book with all the information, you can close it because it's over. So we can use this phrase, case closed, to show that, hey, we don't need to talk about this anymore. We know what the right thing is. Case closed. It's over. No more need to argue and debate. Okay? So next time, we can continue talking about some of these rules of etiquette, because I think these are interesting. Maybe we know some of them already, but there's a lot of English to learn and practice, whether it's airplane English or etiquette English. And I think it's a little bit fun to see what a flight attendant says. So next time, we'll see some other rules to follow. And hopefully you already do a lot of these, but it's kind of nice to hear and be reminded what's the right thing to do. Okay? So if you have any questions, leave a comment or a question and tell me, is there anything you think people should do to be polite on an airplane ride? Sorry. Is there anything you think people should do to be polite on a flight? Is there anything annoying that people do on a flight? And yeah, we can talk about it more next time. Okay? So let's end here for today. I hope you all have a wonderful evening. And I hope you can plan a nice trip in the near future. And yeah, let me know where you want to go and where you want to see. And I hope we can all go enjoy a flight pretty soon. So let's stop here for today. Thank you everyone for joining. And remember to have good etiquette, be nice to each other, take care of yourself, and have a good day. I'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.